Okay, I'm going to show you your steps to complete this exercise. The things we want to look at today, we're going to look at the layers in the Wick editor and also kind of working with the assets and adding images. So before we start, just going to set this up. I'll call this layers animation. And I'm going to make this black for the background. 12 frames per second is good. I'm going to leave the size as is, and I'll hit apply. Now for this animation, you're going to need to go to Classroom. And you're going to want to download this image. So this UFO.png. And best way to download this, if you click on it, you could probably click and drag and just put it in your, I'm going to put it in downloads, but you can put it on your desktop if you want to find it easily. Also, a different way you can download this that is probably a better way is to go up here to open new window and then click on the download button. And that is because, especially with bigger images, sometimes when you drag it, it does not download the full image or the full resolution image and downloads a smaller version. So this is the safest way to do it. So I'm going to just do that again. And now that's in my downloads. I'll go back to the Wick editor. And now to add that image in, you have what is called your asset library in the Wick editor. And this is a number of different things that you can use in your animation or your whatever you're creating here. So I'm going to upload assets. And then I'm just going to go find that file that I just downloaded, which again is in downloads. And I'll open that up. And now that's just going to appear here. And you can just drag it in. And there it is. I'm going to shrink this down. So I'll just click on it, shrink it, try to keep it proportional. So around that big is good. And I'm just going to place it, well, in this first frame, I'm actually going to start it out of the frame. And I will copy it. You can hit the copy up here. You can also press Command-C to copy, or Control-C if you're using a PC. And then I'm going to move it. And I'm going to get this to move down in about 5 or 6 frames. So frame 2, move it down a little bit. Frame 3, move it down a little more. You should turn on your onion skin so you can see where the last frame was. And I'm going to move this a little faster now. 3. 4. 5, it's going to start to slow down a bit. And then 6, I'm going to get it to stop. Now at 6, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it. Let me just watch this first just to see that movement. Okay, that's all right. I think I'm going to go up here to 4, and I'm just going to move that up. And that's just so it slows down a little more. Okay. That's pretty good. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this spot. So I just want this UFO to stay in place for a good amount of frames. So I'm just going to copy it in that spot and then paste it in each of these frames. Again, I'm using the copy and paste, but I'm using the shortcuts. So Command V is paste, Command C is copy. And remember, when I hold it here for each frame, so that means it's just going to stay in place, right? So I want it to just stick around for a little bit. I'm gonna change this. So I realize I'm going a little too low. So I'm gonna not go that low. Sorry. So here 5, I'm gonna just pick that a bit. And I'm gonna leave it there. So this is the one I'm gonna copy and paste. And again, I just want it to stick around for a good amount of this. All right. And maybe around 17 or 18, I'll stop that. Okay, now after this, I'm gonna make it go back up. So and again, I'm gonna start it slow. First, just kind of slowly moving up. And then for the last few frames, I wanted to spread it out. Again, this is sort of your timing and spacing. And I think for the last few frames, I'm just going to keep it, I'm going to move it off. And I have 2 blank frames here. So here's what I'm going to do. This UFO is already off screen. I'm going to hold this keyframe for 2 more frames. So that's another way you can just hold it in place. Right? So it moves up or move down, and then it moves up in 24 frames. Now let's add in a different layer. So we're going to go down here. This is going to be layer 2. And what this is going to allow us to do is just kind of keep our different parts separate. In layer 2, I'm just going to use an ellipse. And I'm going to make it white, or just light colored. And I'm going to place this kind of right directly underneath that UFO. And so here we're going to try this out again, a method of extending this frame, because it's just going to sit there. And that's going to make it easier also to change this if you want to change it. Right, so it's going to stick around, maybe a little less. And that UFO starts going up at 17. So I'm going to want a few frames here. I'll go till 13. And then here, what I'll do is I'm going to copy this sphere. And I'll go to 14. And here's where I'm going to start to move this. I'm going to move it up. And I'm going to do a little bit of a stretch, because it's going to get sucked in. Just a little bit. I have to get it inside or underneath in probably 2 frames. So I'll copy that one. Now I'll move it up a little even more and stretch it even more. And you'll notice now that I'm moving it next to the UFO, it's going to pass underneath, because layer 2 is underneath layer 1. So especially when you have 2 different objects and they're going to interact with each other, layers are good to use. Okay, copy that. And then on frame 16, it's pretty much inside. We do one last stretch. And then it should disappear. Okay, so let's see what that looks like from the beginning. Okay, what I want to do is I'm actually going to shorten this frame, and I'm going to move these 3 back. And let's try that again. This is just so it goes a little sooner. And that's your animation. So that did a few things. Again, now we know layers. We know how to use our image or insert an image. And also we did a tiny bit of squash and stretch in there. Now you can, I would save this. And let's export this as a GIF. And you can turn that in.